Port Charles. If you are still holding out hope that Sonny Corinthos is going to emerge from this week's episodes as the untouchable, invincible mob boss we have known for decades, I am here to tell you to prepare for a brutal heartbreak. The walls are not just closing in on our favorite Port Charles kingpin, they are entirely collapsing, and the devastation is going to leave us all absolutely speechless. We have watched Sonny weather every storm, survive every mob war, and outsmart every enemy that has ever stepped foot in this town. But what happens when the enemy is not a rival mobster, but the crushing weight of betrayal from the people he loves the most? We are about to find out, and let me warn you, it is not gonna be pretty. If you ask me, the foundation of Sonny's impending doom begins with the one woman who was supposed to be his eternal rock, Carly Spencer. We have watched Carly and Sonny navigate decades of turmoil, multiple marriages, and unimaginable grief, always finding their way back to a place of mutual respect and fierce loyalty. But this time, the damage feels incredibly permanent and completely irreparable. Carly has made her choice, and she is loudly and proudly choosing to stand by Valentine Cassadine. Let that sink in for a moment, guys. Valentine Cassadine, the very man who once tampered with Sonny's bipolar medication, pushing him into a dangerous, life-threatening spiral. The man who has brought so much chaos and destruction to their lives. Sonny is now forced to watch the love of his life publicly flaunt a passionate romance with one of his most dangerous adversaries. For Sonny, this is not just a simple romantic rejection, it is a profound, soul-crushing betrayal that cuts to his very core. He feels completely abandoned by the woman who has always anchored him to reality. We all saw that passionate reunion kiss in the hospital parking lot, and we saw the look of absolute disgust and heartbreak on Sonny's face. He even tried to warn Carly, reminding her of Valentine's treacherous past, but she stubbornly refused to listen, demanding that Sonny respect her new relationship. The psychological toll this is taking on him is immense. You can see the cracks forming in his usually stoic armor. He is a man who demands loyalty, and the mother of his children has handed her loyalty to his enemy. But that's not even the craziest part. The heartbreak certainly doesn't stop with Carly. Let's talk about Jason Morgan. Jason has been Sonny's right-hand man, his enforcer, his brother in every conceivable sense of the word for nearly 30 years. When Jason suffered his brain injury and was rejected by the Quartermaines, it was Sonny who took him in. But Jason has returned from his traumatic WSB captivity a fundamentally changed man. He has officially drawn a line in the sand, and he is walking away from the mob to protect his son Danny. Now, rationally, as viewers, we all understand Jason's desperate need to put his child first, especially after everything Danny has been through. Jason wants to be a good father, and he knows that the mob life will only bring danger to the Quartermaine mansion. However, to a spiraling, emotionally fragile Sonny Corinthos, this feels like the ultimate desertion. Sonny operates on absolute loyalty. In his world, you do not walk away, and you certainly do not leave your brother behind when the going gets tough. Seeing Jason refuse to stand by his side during one of the most turbulent times in Port Charles history is a massive, unforgivable blow. To make matters worse, Sonny has been relying heavily on Rick Lansing, which has only driven a further wedge between him and Jason. Sonny is losing his general, his confidant, and his best friend all at once. The isolation is suffocating him, leaving him vulnerable, emotionally raw, and completely alone at the top of his empire. But that's not even the craziest part. Just when you think Sonny cannot possibly take another hit, the writers are throwing a jaw-dropping twist into the mix regarding his firstborn son, Michael Corinthos. We all know Willow Kane has been playing a very dangerous, manipulative game lately. She has been parading around playing the saintly congresswoman while secretly making deals with Jack Brennan and framing Brooklyn Quartermaine. Now, it seems her sinister plot is about to pay off in the absolute worst way possible for the Corinthos family. Willow is going to successfully execute her ultimate trap, framing Michael for a crime he did not commit and putting him in the direct crosshairs of a lengthy prison sentence. For Sonny, his children are his ultimate weakness and his greatest pride. He raised Michael as his own flesh and blood, fighting custody battles and going to war to keep him safe. Watching Michael face the terrifying prospect of being locked away behind bars, completely stripped of his power, his freedom, and his children, is going to be the final straw. Sonny is a protector by nature. He has spent his entire life building an empire to shield his family from the harsh realities of the world. Being utterly powerless to save his son from Willow's deceitful, venomous web is going to push Sonny right over the psychological edge. He cannot save Carly from Valentine, he cannot force Jason to stay, and now he cannot protect Michael from Willow. The sheer helplessness is going to consume him entirely. But that's not even the craziest part. The sheer weight of these simultaneous catastrophic tragedies is going to wreak devastation on Sonny's physical health in a way we have never seen before. I am predicting a massive, life-threatening medical emergency. We are talking about a severe heart attack or a debilitating stroke right there on the spot. Sonny Corinthos, the man who has survived countless mob wars, car bombings, and point-blank assassination attempts, is going to be brought to his knees not by a bullet, but by the sheer heartbreak inflicted by his own fractured family. The stress of losing everything he holds dear is simply too much for his heart to bear. Imagine the scene, guys. Sonny is standing in his penthouse, the walls literally closing in on him. He clutches his chest, the pain radiating through his arm and up his jaw. He collapses to the floor, gasping for air, desperately reaching out for help that isn't there. The emotional trauma has physically broken his heart. The paramedics will rush in, the sirens will wail through the streets of Port Charles, and the panic will set in. It is going to be incredibly difficult to watch, but it will serve as a harrowing, undeniable wake-up call for everyone who pushed this proud man to his absolute breaking point. This brings us to the General Hospital waiting room, which is going to be a masterclass in guilt, regret, and sorrow. I can already picture the heavy, suffocating silence as Jason, Carly, and Michael sit outside the operating room, staring blankly at the sterile walls. For the first time in a very long time, these three will be united by a singular, terrifying fear. They might lose Sonny forever, and they will have to live with the agonizing knowledge that it is entirely their fault. Carly will be drowning in remorse, pacing the floor, questioning if publicly flaunting her romance with Valentine was truly worth destroying the man she once loved with all her heart. Jason will be wrestling with his own dark demons, staring at his hands, wondering if his pursuit of a peaceful, civilian life with Danny came at the ultimate cost of his brother's life. And Michael, poor Michael, will be agonizing over the fact that his toxic, never-ending war with Willow brought this unbearable stress onto his father's shoulders. He will realize that his inability to control his own household has now cost his father his health. The emotional gravity of this waiting room scene is going to be off the charts. We will see tears, we will hear desperate prayers, and we will witness a family completely shattered by their own selfish choices. They will finally realize that they took Sonny's strength for granted, assuming he could carry the weight of the world forever without ever breaking. But inside that operating room, the situation is going to be even more dire than they could possibly imagine. Well, that's not even the craziest part. Inside the cold, sterile operating room, Sonny's body might be on the surgical table, but his spirit is entirely broken. I truly believe that as the surgeons frantically fight to save him, Sonny is going to actively lose the will to live. Why should he keep fighting? The woman he loves has moved on with his enemy, his best friend has abandoned him, and his son is heading to a concrete cell. In Sonny's mind, there is absolutely nothing left to fight for. The Empire means nothing without the family to share it with. He is ready to surrender to the darkness, ready to let go of the immense pain and betrayal that has consumed his life. The heart monitors will start to flatline, the alarms will blare, and the medical staff will begin to panic as they realize they are losing him. Enter Dr. Tristan Roberts. Yes, the arrogant, highly skilled, and mysterious new surgeon who has already been making waves and clashing with Britt Westbourne. Tristan is going to be the lead cardiovascular surgeon, desperately trying to keep Sonny's heart beating. When Tristan realizes that medical intervention simply isn't enough, that Sonny is actively giving up on his own life, he is going to take a drastic, unprecedented measure. Tristan is going to drop a bombshell that will shake the very foundation of General Hospital. He is going to lean down right next to Sonny's ear and whisper a long-buried secret. Tristan is going to claim that he is Sonny's long-lost son. Let me repeat that, guys. Dr. Tristan Roberts is going to tell a dying Sonny Corinthos that he is his flesh and blood. Can you even begin to imagine the absolute shock? Sonny's fading consciousness is going to be jolted by this impossible, reality-altering revelation. His eyes will fly open, his heart rate will spike, and he will desperately want answers. Who is Tristan's mother? Was it a forgotten romance from his early days in the mob? Could it be Lily Rivera? Could it be a secret WSB plot tied to the current Jen Sidwell drama? Was it a secret kept by someone he trusted? Why was this monumental truth hidden for decades? But Tristan is going to use this shocking claim as the ultimate medical leverage. He will refuse to say another word, coldly telling Sonny that if he wants the truth, he has to fight to survive this surgery. He has to choose to live. Now, the million-dollar question remains, and it is going to keep us up at night. Is Tristan telling the truth, opening up a massive, complicated new chapter for the Corinthos family dynasty? Or is this a calculated, desperate, yet brilliantly human lie by a surgeon who knows exactly how to give a dying man a reason to live? If it is a lie, it is a dangerous game to play with a mob boss, tapping into his deepest vulnerabilities just to stabilize his heart rate. But if it is the truth, we are looking at the biggest, most jaw-dropping twist in the history of Port Charles. A new Corinthos heir has just stepped onto the board, and the power dynamics of this town will never be the same. Lock your doors and hold on tight, guys, because the fallout from this surgery is going to change everything we thought we knew.